Spotify figured out a way to reduce the mechanical royalty rate for US interactive streams. There are usually three types of royalties paid for a US interactive stream on Spotify: a master royalty and two types of publishing royalties, a performance royalty and a mechanical royalty. Master royalties are typically paid to artists, music producers, and record labels. Publishing royalties are typically paid to songwriters, music producers, and music publishers. Spotify pays mechanical royalties based on formulas chosen by the Copyright Royalty Board. Those formulas were updated based on a 2022 settlement between the National Music Publishers Association and the Nashville Songwriters Association on one side, and the Digital Media Association, who represents Spotify and other streaming services, on the other side. That settlement added a loophole that benefits Spotify. Spotify recently added audiobooks to their $10.99 premium individual plan. They seem to believe that this changes the classification of that plan from a standalone portable subscription offering that would pay mechanical royalties based on these monthly formulas to a bundle subscription offering that would pay mechanical royalties based on these monthly formulas. These offerings pay mechanical royalties based on different formulas, and because of the 2022 settlement, the bundle subscription offering has formulas that are significantly more favorable to Spotify than the standalone portable subscription offering. For both of these offerings, there are three major steps that are completed monthly. Step 1, an all-in publishing royalty pool is calculated based on the greater of two sets of formulas. Step 2, the total amount of mechanical royalties is calculated based on the greater of another two formulas. Step 3, the total amount of mechanical royalties is allocated to musical works based on how many times they were streamed. The major differences between these two offerings are in the formulas for Step 1 and Step 2. There are multiple differences, but the biggest difference is probably Step 1 formula set 1. Under this formula, the all-in publishing royalty pool is a percentage of the DSP's service provider revenue. Under a standalone portable subscription offering, service provider revenue is essentially the gross revenue of the offering. So if Spotify charged $10.99 for a premium individual plan, then all or nearly all of that would count as service provider revenue. And in 2014, 15.2% of that, which would be about $1.67, would go towards the all-in publishing royalty pool. Under a bundle subscription offering, service provider revenue is essentially the gross revenue of the offering multiplied by a fraction. The numerator of that fraction would be the value of the music component of the bundle if it were standalone. The denominator would be the value of each component of the bundle if each of them were standalone. Spotify considers its premium individual plan a bundle, and they don't have a similar plan in the US that is music only. In this case, the settlement allows them to use the average value of music-only plans in the US that are similar to the music component of their plan. I checked, and Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, and YouTube Music all had music-only plans that were $10.99, so that is probably the value that Spotify would use for the fraction. Spotify released an audiobook access plan available from their website for $9.99. So the fraction would probably be a numerator of $10.99 over a denominator of $10.99 plus $9.99. That is $10.99 over $20.98. That fraction multiplied by the $10.99 price of their premium individual plan would be about $5.76. That would count towards the service provider revenue, and in 2024, 15.2% of that, which would be about 88 cents, would go towards the all-in publishing royalty pool under Step 1 Formula Set 1. So, under Step 1 Formula Set 1, if Spotify's $10.99 premium individual plan were classified as a standalone portable subscription offering, then about $1.67 of that would go towards the all-in publishing royalty pool. If it were classified as a bundle subscription offering, then about 88 cents would go towards the all-in publishing royalty pool. That would be a reduction of about 47%. Step 2 Formula 1 would subtract the total amount of performance royalties from the all-in publishing royalty pool to get the total amount of mechanical royalties. Those mechanical royalties would then be allocated pro rata in Step 3. So under that formula, if the all-in publishing royalty pool were reduced by 47%, then it would directly affect the size of the mechanical royalty allocation, potentially by more than 47%. For example, if the all-in publishing royalty pool was $100 and $50 in performance royalties were subtracted from it, then $50 in mechanical royalties would be left. However, if the all-in publishing royalty pool were reduced by 47% to $53 and $50 in performance royalties were subtracted from it, then $3 in mechanical royalties would be left. Now in this scenario, the results of Step 1 Formula Set 1 would be so low that the other formula would probably be used for that month instead. But this change in classification could make Step 1 Formula Set 1 essentially useless, thus leaving Step 1 Formula Set 2, which previously would have been the lesser of 26.2% of total content cost, or $1.10 per subscriber. However, Spotify's reclassification would change that formula to 24.5% of total content cost with no per subscriber element. I'm not saying that Spotify's mechanical royalty payouts are guaranteed to be cut nearly in half. There are a lot of ways for these formulas to shake out. I ran some numbers that incorporated some fairly realistic assumptions and got a reduction of about 17.75%. A reclassification might not cut Spotify's mechanical royalty payments in half, but the potential is there for that to happen.